Hi everyone, I'm Katie Miller, President of the Law Institute of Victoria. If you've been following some of my blogs this year or perhaps reading the occasional column in the Law Institute Journal, you'll know that one of the issues that the Law Institute of Victoria has been campaigning about is the new Data Retention Bill, which was introduced into Parliament about this time last year and was passed by the Federal Parliament in March of this year. Well, we're 6 months down the track, and as of Tuesday, that law has started. What that means is that if you are a user of the phone or the internet in Australia, your data is going to be captured. It's going to be things like who you email, who you call, who calls you, who emails you. It's going to be things like the IP address for your computer. It's going to be things even like where you are when you send or receive emails or telephone calls. So it's a lot of data. So the Act started on Tuesday. What that means is that telephone companies are now entering the transition phase, which is going to be pretty lengthy. It's about 18 months. And so what they're doing is they're identifying how are they going to capture and store all of this data. It's a lot of data for them to store, and they're going to need to build new systems to do that. So that's what they're doing at the moment. The question is, what should we as lawyers be doing? Because again, if you've been reading my blogs or my columns, you'll know that under the data retention scheme, law enforcement agencies can access the communications of lawyers and their clients without a warrant. So that means that even though the content of your communications with clients are protected by legal client privilege, law enforcement agencies can still get access to data about those communications. So they can identify and figure out which clients are you talking to, which witnesses are you talking to? And we've already heard from some of our clients who work in, some of the more sensitive criminal areas that there are concerns that if law enforcement agencies know which witnesses you're talking to, then they can piece together your defence strategy. So it's a time of transition for the telephone and internet companies, but it's also a time of transition for lawyers. Now is the time for you to think about what sort of communications do you have with your clients, and do you need to look at other ways of protecting the confidentiality of those communications? So that might mean, do you need to look at using a virtual private network for some of your communications with clients or witnesses? Have a think about what sort of email address you're using. Are you using an email service that's provided by your internet service provider like iiNet or Telstra? If so, data about your emails will be captured under this system. On the other hand, if you're using an email service that's described as, over the top, like a Gmail or a Yahoo, then data won't be retained about those emails. There's a lot for us to think about, and obviously it's going to take time. We do have a long transition period, so I encourage each and every one of you to make some time in your diaries to ask these questions. And a good starting point would be my blog from Privacy Week, when we talked about virtual private networks and mobile phones and some of the extra security tips and tricks for you so that you can protect your clients' data. The LIV will also be continuing our efforts to support you in this area, and there'll be more tips and tricks coming in future weeks and months. So it is very much a brave new world. It does present challenges for lawyers, but as always, the Law Institute of Victoria is here to help you.